Hi everybody, I'm Shanine Lozano for FilAm TV. I'm with foreclosure defense attorney Stephen R. Golden. Thank you for being here today.
Welcome.
So many homeowners are really frustrated when they're trying to modify their loan. There's a ton of paperwork. Banks keep dragging them along. It takes a year, 2 years. Why aren't banks modifying loans?
Fairly simple. They don't own the loan. When you sign the loan as a homeowner, it was immediately transferred to investors. And the banks simply will not lower the payments, because if they do, they're going to have to reimburse the trust or the investors that own the loan the difference between your current payment and the lower payment that you're seeking. And when is the last time the bank actually did you a favor and helped you out?
Never.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
So the banks will not do that unless certain circumstances occur, very, very narrow circumstances.
So what can homeowners do when banks aren't helping them?
Well, there's a couple of things. Some people may have heard of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy or a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, depending on the balance of the loan. And you can strip or reduce the second loan, get that down, or actually take it away, and sometimes that helps homeowners. You stay in your home and you get rid of some of the debt. That is one of the things that we do. Another thing that we can do is we actually take the banks to court. They committed a lot of violations from the time that the loan was signed. Disclosures weren't made. They may have made mistakes in the transfer of the loan to other parties. They didn't keep the proper documentation. And sometimes when they start the foreclosure process, they break the rules. All those things give an attorney, an experienced attorney, the leverage that he or she needs to take the banks to court and sue them for their violations of law. That gives the leverage for the banks to do what they don't want to do. And so that is to lower your payments to where it makes sense for the homeowner. They don't want to do that.
Well, I heard there's a law coming up in January that's going to help the homeowners. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, this new law, it's called the Homeowners Bill of Rights. That was just passed this January by the legislature in California. And it stops a couple of practices that the banks have been notorious for, such as foreclosing while you're under loan modification review. The poor homeowner thinks, the bank's working with me. Next thing you know, someone's knocking on your door and said, can I help you move? We bought your home. Well, they can't do that like they did before. They have to notify you of your rights, that you were denied, you have a right to appeal. That's one of the significant provisions that's there. There's also another provision that single point of contact, that they're supposed to keep up on the information. One source you call in, they're supposed to have knowledge of the papers that you send, anything that's needed. And if you're denied a loan modification for whatever reason, they have to tell you why, and you have a right to appeal. If they violate those rules, you can take them to court, and you can get the court to stop that foreclosure in its tracks and get your attorney's fees paid back and damages if they wrongfully foreclosed and violated those rules. Most importantly, the most important provision, that is a game changer, is that if the bank's paperwork is not in appropriate order, they don't show that they have the rights to the note, one of the documents that the homeowner signed when they got the loan, the promises to pay. Sometimes that lender doesn't have the actual note. They may not have the deed of trust that gives them the right to foreclose if you're late on your note. The documents have been separated from different entities. And sometimes they just don't have that record. The legislature has told them, you need to prove standing before you can foreclose on someone's property. So the homeowner can take the bank to court and stop it and get their money damages against the bank. Get the leverage to get the loan mod, which the banks promised to do when they got bailed out by the taxpayers.
Wow. January can't come soon enough.
We're looking forward to it. We think it is a game changer, and the legislature actually fought the banks, and the banks lost, and California wants to stop this tide of foreclosure that's happening in California.
And what success are you having with loan modifications?
Even right now, before the new law comes into effect, we've been litigating for several years now, and we are getting principal reduction. Say your home loan, you owe $500,000, the property's worth $400,000, we'll get it down to $100,000. Plus we'll get a 2 to 3% interest rate. That is significant for the homeowner, because if he or she's paying $2,000 or $2,500 and now it's down $600-700, that makes a huge difference to the homeowner, because that allows them that cushion to be able to make their payment and stay in their homes. That's all the homeowners typically is looking for, and we're very, very glad to be able to help them. That's now. Now, with the new law coming into effect, we're very, very convinced that the banks are going to work with us and give the homeowners some relief that they promised to under the new law.
That's great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was foreclosure defense attorney Stephen R. Golden. I'm Shanine Lozano for FilAm TV.